Dude, oh my god, dude, Sean Strickland looked just phenomenal last night. And let me talk about this. I am so sorry, Imavov. I am so sorry, Nazadim Imavov. Because the weird thing about it is that Imavov deserves a title fight. Like, there's no conversation about it. He beat Israel Adesanya, and then he was like next in line, and then chose up to take Kyle Barajo, who was like in a good winning streak, who was like a scary guy in middleweight. He's a triple threat, like Anthony Smith likes to say. So he deserves it. But I kind of want to see Strickland fight for the belt. Like, I am so interested in seeing that fight and that storyline going into that Strickland versus Hamza Chimaev. Will it happen? I don't know, because it kind of looks like since Paramount acquired the UFC, the Paramount does not like Strickland anymore. Like the UFC already had a little bit of issues with Strickland, but oh my god, the storyline going into it, what the press is gonna be, and just seeing a video like this of Hamza Chimaev pacing around the room, looking distressed, looking perturbed, and looking like he's ready to go to heavyweight. I need to see him versus Strickland. Like, I am genuinely intrigued now. Like, Sean Strickland did not show the grappling, but I think that's impressive not to even have to let it get there. Because, look, Fluffy and Hamza are very different wrestlers. One is very explosive, one is pace you out, right? But Sean Strickland, just the things he was able to show, his distance management, his ability to not get like, you circle out, not to get pressed against the cage, his ability to even like know when to do what, go for that knee that finished Fluffy Hernandez, the same one that kind of got was from Kevin Holland, and Bedtime MMA is absolutely right. Fluffy is just chinny to the body. Like, you're not going to knock him out. You're not going to really chin him. You're going to hit something soft and fluffy in his body, and he's going to go crumbling down. And that's the way to go. And Strickland knew that. He knew that. And he went for it. That's smart. That's IQ. That's what I want. And then, like, oh my God. He's also wrestled with Hamza Chimaev. He's also been practicing with him. He's been talking so much bull. He's like, I'm like actually genuinely interested into that, like what feels almost like a WWE setup fight where there's bad blood, and I feel like the little more we get exposed of it, the more hyped up we'll be. Which Sean Strickland already exposed that, like, oh, Hamza Chimaev choked me out. Yeah, when he was behind me, and I let him choke me out. But anytime like Hamza Chimaev's a bully and all that stuff, I need that. There has been no setup from Imavov, Hamza Chimaev. They don't speak. Neither of them really speak that well English. None of them are really going to drive the conference, the press conference. None of them are going to drive the media. This, I think, is closer to the Habib Conor than something like Ian Gary, who's going to pay respects to Islam Makhachev, and Islam Makhachev is going to pay respects back to Ian Gary. It doesn't matter if it's like Irish versus like Dagestani. It's about bad blood. And I could see Sean Strickland just straight up pissing off Hamza Chimaev so much that Hamza Chimaev might be the one throwing a dolly. Hamza Chimaev might corner Chris Curtis and bully him, and then Sean Strickland has to go and retort. Like, it might lead somewhere. Like, we saw Ian Gary just like hard shoulder and tap him in the back, and he was ready to throw down there. Just imagine what all this shit that Sean Strickland is talking about is gonna lead. And I need to see that. I need to know what happens. And as for Fluffy, he did well. He did well on the feet. It's just such a hard matchup to constantly get jabbed and not having to, like, there has to be this anxiety when you're in the cage where you're not being able to perform how you want to perform and get what you want to get. So Fluffy wants to get Sean Strickland down, right? And the anxiety of just like, fuck, it's already 2 rounds down. I'm not being able to do it. I need to go a little bit more wilder. I need to be a little bit crazier. And that's kind of what led him to this downfall. But you kind of can't pick that. You kind of can't do that game with Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland is just going to just melt you down. He's going to out-cardio you. He's going to out-pepper you. He's going to block everything you throw at him. He's not going to get taken down. He's not going to get cornered against the fence. And it's just so impressive from Sean Strickland. And as for Fluffy, I'm a big fan. I still think other YouTubers, Sony Has Died, Bedtime MMA, Flying Squirrel, all talked about how people are discrediting Fluffy. I haven't seen it because I'm not really online. I'm busy working and stuff like that. Oh, please like and subscribe. Also, the YouTube stuff, right? Fluffy is dangerous. Fluffy is good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. I'm Mexican. I have a sombrero and a poncho and shit like that, right? He would have been RDR there. Like, I'm like, people are starting to glaze Brandon Allen now, or Paul Allen, whatever I call him, because he beat RDR, and RDR was in a run. He was looking good. He beat Whitaker. And seeing that fight versus Brandon Allen and RDR, I'm like, oh, Hernandez would have destroyed him. And Hernandez done beat Brandon Allen already. Like, these aren't great names, but these are names that were like are still there. They're still high level competitors, right? They're not like championship worthy. Like, they're no Hamza, they're no Israel Adesanya, they're no Strickland. But those are still top 10 guys, and you still want to have that resume to prove you're still good and you deserve there. Look, I'm just happy that Fluffy's in the top 10, and Fluffy deserves to be up there. And he's also not that far away from being like in a championship fight. Because in all honesty, 2, maybe 3 more fights, more wins, and he's back in title, like back fighting for the title, right? And depending on who he gets up, like if he fights Robert Whittaker, I think he has a chance. If he fights like Brandon Allen again for a rematch, Cannonier, MVP, RDR, I think he kind of smokes all of them. The only people I'm a little scared for him if Imavov, Kaio, and like these other people who are like triple threats, kind of, right? Big fan of Fluffy. He's a good fighter. I'm happy he's there. You know, I think he deserves a lot of respect just for kind of just being a cool guy. I feel like we don't get that enough. Now we have people like Strickland who are like, well, don't get it wrong. I appreciate Strickland. I like what Strickland's doing. I don't get offended by what he has to say because a lot of the times he's saying it just to say it. He's not really trying to offend anybody. Well, he's trying to offend somebody, but just to be offended, right? It's a weird thing where he's like calls like Fluffy a lot of bad things, but once you fight him and once you get in the cage, like it's about respect and a lot of it. I don't hate Strickland. I'm actually a big fan of Strickland. He's actually one of the bigger stars. Like, if we have, like, Pereira, Islam, and Ilya and S tier, like, Sean Strickland is probably, like, B+, maybe C-, like, around there, where he's, like Hamza Chimaev, I think is A+ stardom, right? Maybe S-. And if there's a fight between, like, Imavov and Hamza, who Imavov will probably have, like, a C. Like, he's kind of known, but he's not really a famous. I'm not gonna go to a bar and be like, how you feel about Imavov? They're not gonna really care. But if I tell them like, yo, what do you think about Sean Strickland? They're gonna be like, oh, I saw that press conference. I know him. I saw what he did to Izzy. I hope he gets knocked out again, right? Like that's kind of like the difference between it. That's why I kind of want the build up for Hamza Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. It's just gonna be more. It's gonna be a superstar versus a superstar rather than a superstar versus Imavov, right? Is it unfair? Yes. But this kind of looks like the direction that the UFC is moving into, which is kind of sad, I would say, unless I want it. And then I'm biased and then I want it, right? But that's kind of it. That's where I'm leaving, right? All right, next fight. Let's talk about this. Oh, man. They got my boy. They slimed him out. Yeah, chinny to the body. That's kind of like the same knee that Holland got on Fluffy, and then it just looked like a liver shot, maybe. And then Fluffy was throwing back, but he just got beat up against the fence. You know, this was back in, 2020, 2022, something like that. Back in Kevin Holland's run. Back when we really thought Kevin Holland was something. Let's continue. Urs Medic versus, oh, my God, Jeffrey Neal, man. I genuinely feel so bad for him. I don't know if Earl Medic is just a monster or Jeff Neal just got his like I think MMA Guru talked about it. Once you get your chin cracked, you've never been knocked out before. He talked about it versus Ilya and Holloway. But once you get that chin taken away from you, and we've seen it with the Iceman, I forgot his name. Right, we've seen it before where you get that chin taken away from you, it doesn't recover. Now you're always you don't get knocked down, you get knocked out. And we saw that versus Carlos Prates where Jeff Neal got spinning elbowed in the dome. And then I don't know if Uros Medic is that good or that just Jeff Neal just got cracked. Like he just doesn't have that jaw anymore. And I feel genuinely bad because he was 100 days sober. I made a video about him and alcoholism and how like just my personal effects on alcoholism, right? Whatever. And I feel genuinely bad because I do like Jeff Neal. Jeffrey Neal I think he's cool. Like he seems like a chill guy too. I like chill guys, but this is a sport. This is also entertainment. We need people like Uros Medic to succeed, prevail, and like come up, like float up from like the little like style of grime. And I'm excited to see him more. In the beginning of this fight, I was like, damn, why is Uros Medic here? And now I know. Now I'm going to remember that. Now he's a standout character in my brain. And then this pose right here, phenomenal. This right here, oh, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad, man. Jeffrey Neal, I do very much like him, man. I do very much like him. Sometimes he does piss me off with the Ian Gary fight where he didn't want to push forward, but like, I don't know. I just have sympathy. I like him. That's all I could say. And for next, Milky Costa, Jesus Christ. Look, I knew Milky was good. I knew Milky was going to be something in the future. And maybe a top 10, right? Probably a top 10. But now I'm like, okay, he's either going to be champ or a top 5. No way this man gets taken, like beat up somewhere along the way. Like he just looks so impressive. Do this to Dan Ige. And like some people were saying early stoppage. I think it was a fine stoppage. It wasn't like anything egregious or anything like that. Like I didn't feel like it was like Cannonier versus Imavov where Cannonier was still like standing up, wobbling from here, throwing back. Like no, this was gonna lead to a more brutal late stoppage. That's why I think it teetered right in the middle, maybe a little early, but it wasn't like egregiously bad where I'm like I need to bring up my pitchfork and like fire, right? Milky's just so impressive, and to do this like just a couple months after his last fight, I think, right? Good, great. I love him. I'm a big fan. I was already a big fan, but like, there's a thing of with fighters that I want to put my trust in them, but I'm too scared to put my trust in them just because I don't want to see them get knocked out, and that's gonna break my heart. It's just about where I want to invest my coins at, and I have that trust in Milky. I have that trust in Milky. He is just that good. He was scaring me in the middle because he just kept backing up, and this was like the game plan, I guess. This almost like Holloway spinning kick that he broke Gaethje's nose with, except this one was more on the chin, more of a knockout, almost more impressive, I would say. Great. And then on another news, right? I like to see him defend his title before he talks about jumping around. You're gonna keep going up in weight divisions without defending Dana White, which is like I am so happy. The rumors of Jiri versus Hamza Chimaev were pissing me off, but at the same time, I'm still such a big fan of the sport where I'm like, I would still like to really see that fight. Like that's still a genuinely fun fight. I would still love to see Hernandez versus Hamza. Like Hamza is just such a fun matchup to put because either he like depending, right? If I know it's not gonna be a hug fest, I still would like to see that fight just because I want to see just how good Hamza is against a 205er. That's crazy, like Jiri. Or I would love to see how Fluffy stacks up to Hamza, like a scary grappler with like explosive power. I want to see the fight just to itch that little part of my brain, right? But I am so happy he's not going up. I'm so happy. Hopefully Dana White's not BSing us and blue balling us and like toying with being a manipulator and being like, oh, he's not going up and then he goes up, right? We know that Dana White doesn't really have much pull anymore in the UFC, at least according to himself in testimonies in the judge, which I don't know if he put his hand to the Bible and pled like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, whatever. I want to see it for my interest, but like I could just like at the same time I could just like let two CPUs fight in UFC 5 if I really wanted it, right? So I'm happy he's not going up. I'm happy I'm excited for him versus Strickland. I would still like to see Nasruddin Imavov get the title shot. I'm not gonna be mad about it. I'm just saying this, like him versus Sean Strickland is gonna be a much bigger fight and much more interesting for me. But I would still love to see Imavov get his shot. He still deserves it. He's still the number one contender. He was already the number one contender and he took the Kyle Barajo fight. So whoever really fights Hamza Chimaev, I'm just gonna be interested. Like I'm annoyed by his inactivity, but I don't think he's always gonna just nut hug somebody. I think you do that when you're fighting for the belt and then you go back to like being normal. Not normal, but like go back to like just having fun. Like you want to get that belt, you're gonna get the belt no matter what. That's kind of like their mindset. Like I think we saw Merab Devashvili get the belt. Not the most exciting way. I think 306 UFC against Sean O'Malley, which was his like it's not exciting because it's normally him. But then like after that, like the Peter Yan was exciting, but I think that was more because the Umar was exciting. But I guess that's harder competition, right? Who knows? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave you guys there. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day. I don't know what else to tell you. Bye.